Welcome to the Business Review, a daily program that delves into the latest economic stories in the financial market around the world. From currency affairs to technology stories, we bring you the best from around the world.
US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said accepting Chinese domination of 5G through tech giant Huawei would be choosing autocracy versus democracy as she addressed journalists on the last day of the annual Munich Security Conference. Pelosi said it is about putting the state police in the pocket of every consumer, suggesting an internationalization of the technology instead. China's Huawei, a global giant in telecoms network equipment, is the center of an international political storm as the United States seeks to convince countries to ban the company from their mobile networks. Washington says its technology could allow for Chinese spying, an allegation denied by Huawei and Beijing. US officials at the security conference urged governments and business leaders to build an ecosystem of industry champions that can provide alternatives to Huawei.
Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam pledged handouts totaling 3.2 billion US dollars to the hospital authority and businesses grappling with the coronavirus outbreak that has piled further pressure on the Chinese-ruled city's battered economy. Lam, speaking at a news conference, said the government would provide 605 million US dollars to the hospital authority in addition to a series of one-off payments to retailers and others impacted by the outbreak. Hong Kong has 56 confirmed cases of the virus, which has killed one person in the city. Lam, accused by some residents of mishandling the health crisis, said the government would issue one-off payments of 80,000 Hong Kong dollars to certified travel agents and between 80,000 to 200,000 Hong Kong dollars to restaurants, food and beverage businesses based on their size. The package will need to be approved by the city's legislative council.
Valentine's Day is not proving to be a good day for some florists in Beijing as the coronavirus outbreak takes a growing toll on Chinese businesses. A flower shop in Beijing's central business district said their orders dropped by nearly 30 to 50% after the government set up strict rules to limit public activities. Shop owner Song Jiangkan said the restrictions on transport and flight cancellations from other countries made it more challenging to import roses from abroad on time for Valentine's Day. The novel coronavirus has spread throughout the world since the first case emerged in central China at the end of last year.
Royal Bank of Scotland's new Chief Executive Alison Rose unveiled a new strategy for the taxpayer-backed bank, including radically cutting back the size of its loss-making investment bank and renaming the company NatWest. Rose, who replaced former CEO Ross McEwen in November to become the first woman to lead one of Britain's major banks, is hoping a rebrand will help rehabilitate the lender's image after years of scandals following a £45 billion taxpayer rescue during the 2008 financial crisis. Although the RBS brand will live on in Scotland, the bank will stop using the 293-year-old name at group level and adopt the NatWest brand that grew out of National Westminster Bank, which RBS bought in 2000 and which consistently polls as more popular in customer satisfaction surveys in Britain. The new strategy and better than expected profits were, however, overshadowed by a lower than expected 8p dividend, sending shares down 6% in morning trading and demonstrating the challenge Rose faces to win over investors. The payout will amount to £1 billion, including a £600 million windfall for taxpayers who still own 62% of the bank. Rowe's strategy includes plans to halve investment bank NatWest's markets risk weighted assets to £20 billion. She also said making the bank greener would be a top priority to help tackle one of the defining issues of our generation, following similar strategy updates by BP and BlackRock in recent weeks. The bank will stop financing coal power stations by 2030 and is aiming to make its own operations carbon positive by 2025. And Rose also said as Britain negotiates a trade deal with the EU after it left the bloc at the end of January, the prospect of a no deal is not good for business. But Rose added the bank was prepared operationally for a hard Brexit if it happens.
A two-story building that will be part of Dubai Municipality's Innovation Centre has registered as the world's largest 3D printed structure. The building, unveiled in October of 2019 and registered by the Guinness World Records, stands at 9.5 meters high and spans across 640 square meters. It could be the starting point of Dubai government's plans to turn the emirate into a hub of 3D printing technology. The municipality says the building is 60% more sustainable than average buildings, using half of the number of construction workers. The reduction of the labor force needed to construct the building reduced the cost of production from 2.5 million dirhams to 1 million. Dubai is also home to what is said was the world's first functioning 3D printed office building, opened in 2016. Depending on the 3D printing method is part of a drive by the Gulf's main tourism and business hub to develop technology that cuts costs and saves time.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa said the country will focus on fixing its strained public finances this year and procure more renewable energy quickly to address a power crisis. Ramaphosa said in an annual address to Parliament that growth in Africa's most industrialized economy had stalled, exacerbating an unemployment crisis and increasing hardship for millions of citizens. Ramaphosa came to power 2 years ago with pledges to improve governance after a decade of policy missteps and corruption scandals under his predecessor Jacob Zuma, but he has found it hard to revive investor confidence given severe power cuts, repeated bailouts to state firms like South African Airways, and infighting in his governing African National Congress party. Ramaphosa's critics want him to move more swiftly to address regulatory blockages and rein in runaway government spending. Another area where Ramaphosa has been criticized is not for procuring more power sooner, as power cuts escalated last year. Ramaphosa said that his government would shortly issue ministerial determinations to boost generating capacity and rapidly and significantly increase capacity outside Eskom. But he warned that power cuts would probably continue while Eskom battles to fix its faulty coal-fired power stations. Ramaphosa's speech was delayed for more than an hour by radical leftist party the Economic Freedom Fighters. EFF lawmakers, clad in their trademark red overalls, objected angrily to the presence of South Africa's last president of the apartheid era, F.W. de Klerk, in Parliament. They interrupted Ramaphosa when he took the podium, shouting at him to fire Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan for his handling of state firms like Eskom and SAA. Speaker Thandi Modise suspended proceedings before EFF lawmakers marched out of the chamber.
This has been the Business Review, your daily dose of economy and technology stories around the globe. Tune in next time for more up-to-date developments in the financial market. This is Farah Al Hashim reporting from Paris for KTV2 for the program The Business Review.